Welcome to Wine Chats with Bildo and Lindelin. My name is Billy Milovanovic, aka Bildo.
And my name's Lindsay Kirkwood, also known as Lindelin.
And this is an offensively funny podcast about drinking wine and chatting life. Hope you enjoy.
Very lonely, Billy. Can you hurry up and join me on the couch?
I'm so excited for this.
Oh, why?
Because I get to open the bottle.
Oh, right. I'm like, it's not a very thrilling topic.
Isn't it?
Well, it can be. Feisty.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
We're going to be talking about to co-ed, to not co-ed, your kids during high school, private school system, the state school system, all that jazz. Because we obviously have 5 children amongst ourselves.
We do.
And it's very topical, and it actually makes me really angry. So, do I get a little bit angry about some of it? But what I don't get angry about is watching Billy. Wait.
Well, I need to start peeling at least.
I know.
Look, there's so much happening.
There is. I hate popping corks. It makes me nervous because I never know when it's going to pop. I don't know where the cork's going to go. And it's been a running joke of Billy. I actually hate it. So
I love it.
She does. So I said, good, you can open it.
Dude, it's pops. How exciting. And just move it away from your face. What's the problem?
It still makes me
I
nervous.
would have at least hoped that you got rid of the thing. And
Anyways,
look,
no.
it really, there's a science to it, okay? You got to twist.
Stop talking while I talk about it. So we're actually drinking Little Ripples bubbles. Little Ripples are amazing. So every bottle that you buy, they provide water for a whole year for a person in need. Bam! And they're low sugar. If you break anything, you are paying for it.
I'm going to just take this off as well.
Low sugar, low carb wines. This one isn't, but you can get half the alcohol. See, it's a legit paranoia of mine.
No, but I'm not.
Do it away from me. Do it.
Yeah, Lindsay, look.
If you break a window or mirror.
I'm not going to break it. I'm going to
I get so
pull it
nervous.
up. Okay, I want to do it in front of the mic so you can hear the pop.
Can we just get the cork out and get the nervousness over? See, okay, that was good. Nice. My God. Did you get...
Not on the equipment.
Fuck the equipment.
How did we, Lindsay, were we not prepared for this?
I don't know.
Were we not prepared?
Billy's never done that. Grab my...
Oh my God.
I will wash it because, we don't have any towels. We've got your jacket. This is a hot mess.
For those of you who didn't just watch this, obviously we popped the bubbles.
No, you.
I popped the bubbles, and the bubbles were pre-shaken, probably by Lindsay, who wanted to see me do this. So really, the floor is wet. There's so much bubbles.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Oh, wow.
But I hope you heard that pop.
Thank God it is white. That is all I can say because I have a very light rug and a very light couch.
I am all wet and it's not even for the right reasons. Okay. Okay.
I
I know, Lindsay. Well,
anyways, drink Little Ripples. Let her rip.
And make sure you pop her bubbly bottles outside.
I was pouring it really fast. I forgot that it was bubbles.
Good.
You can have that one.
Oh. And bubbles, apologies, Little Ripples, but bubbles always make me burp. And I will try, and apologies to our listener right now because you are the one who's going to be suffering through this with us. Cheers.
Hold my glass. This is going safely on the table.
I was going to say, we would love to display it for the rest of the episode, but unfortunately, we are terrified. So it's already on the couch, Lindsay. You might as well just commit.
My couch was terrified of it. Anyways.
There you go. Cheers.
Oh my God, my poor little couch.
Your poor couch, your poor floor. Your rug is messed up, girl.
Your face is going to be messed up in a second. Bubbly?
Yes, and really delicious.
Whoa.
I got a bubble in the wrong place.
Okay, do you know what is weird? Because I'm not a big bubble, champagne, sparkling wine gal. When you put it in your mouth, this is going to sound really dumb. When you put it in your mouth,
that's what
you're like, oh my God, there's so many bubbles. It's going to hurt swallowing.
There's like a million of them, yeah.
But it's actually quite smooth to drink. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But the bubbles are still as it goes down my esophagus, it bubbles continuously as it goes down.
I actually quite like this.
It's delicious, actually. It's dainty. Do you know what it is? A little bit of soury as well. There's a little bit of
it's not sweet.
It's tart. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, we hate sweet bubbles.
Mm-mm. No. Anyway.
Not for us.
Linny.
Co-ed
or not?
Well, there's first of all, we should say over here in Australia, the private school system for high school.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. Where I come from, that is not a thing unless if you
Right.
live in the city and you're like mega rich. Like you just, for me, I went to the high school. Like I only had one
Right.
high school to go to.
Yeah.
And same with public school, which is our primary school.
Right.
You just go to the school in your town.
Yep. Okay.
Right?
Yep. That makes sense.
So
I don't remember there being, but I was like very little in former Yugoslavia, so I don't remember there ever being private schools, but I'm sure there would have been some options. But you're right. Like it was never a thing when I was younger.
It totally not.
Yeah.
100% not for me. And I remember when Bain, my first, started prep, which is like kindergarten back home, moms even then were like, oh, so where are you going to send Bain to high school? I'm like, what? Whoa. Like, let him learn how to write his name first. Like, why are we talking about high school?
People are actually really full on about schools around here.
Totally. And Brisbane is actually
Yes.
known to be like super like, not competitive, but like, ooh, where are you sending your kid to high school?
You're so right. I remember being, because I was a teacher at my kid's school for a few years. And I remember one of the orientation days that I went to, I met a mum and she was so cool. I'm actually still friends with her on Facebook, which is weird. But I was like, oh, so, how old's your son? Like, well, not how old's your son. I would have been like, is he coming in next year? And she was like, oh, no, he's only 2. So I'm just kind of like scoping out the schools, I'm like, he's 2 years old. And you're scoping out a school for him for when he's like 5?
Yeah.
I just found that really weird.
Oh, but lots of parents here will not even enroll, like put the kid's name on the list of the school
Right.
when they're pregnant.
Oh my God.
Literally.
But is that necessary as in like to get in?
Yes, for some schools, yes,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
See, I'm not interested in that type of school.
Yeah.
I just want to know what the purpose is because I've done a smidgen of research because I was just interested in like curious about like private schools and stuff.
Yeah.
Like what is it that actually drives people to want to put their kids into like to feel so passionately about it? Because I feel very passionately on the opposite side.
Yep.
Where I'm not really interested in having my kids go to private school.
Which I think it comes down to a lot of it with what the parents did for their schooling.
Right. You're stealing my shit. Stop
Oh,
speaking.
right.
Stop speaking.
You're stealing my shit. Can I just finish my thought and then you can
Not at
go in
all.
with your shit because obviously it's a good segue. Because this was the conversation with Cameron and I. So Cameron went to a private all-boys school. So he was like, oh no, Bain should go to a private all-boys school. And I'm like, no, I went to a state co-ed high school.
I can see how well that education has worked out for her.
I have a fucking diploma, Billy. What do you have?
Bunch of certificates I can't remember.
Exactly. Okay. What research do you have? Go.
Okay.
Riveting.
Private schools are better funded.
Well, duh. That's
Dun,
because
dun,
they're...
dun.
Where?
No,
what is
look, this is
article
just,
from?
please, it's actually from a very reputable place, okay? No, the reason I screenshotted this particular bit was because I know nothing, okay? First of all, let's start with that because people probably know a lot more than what I do. So when I give you this information, you're going to be like, you're a dickhead. But like, I didn't know this and I found it very interesting.
Okay.
So this is according to data from the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority,
Ooh, that's a big one.
the ANSI.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Government provides about $14,000 in funding per public school student. Private schools receive less, but I didn't realize they still receive this much.
You dickhead. The parents are paying for the kid to go.
No, this is for state. The amount that the state
for state. I
gives.
thought you were doing the private now. Okay, yeah.
We're name calling. Dickhead.
Dare she? Uh-huh.
No, so private schools receive less government funding per students, but they still receive about $12,000 for Catholic schools per student and $10,000 for independent or like non-government schools.
Right.
So they still receive from the government all this money. I thought private school, like why are people paying so much for? Because on top of that, obviously parents are paying. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
That's a heap of money.
So the government is still, like Department of
Yes.
Education is still paying the private schools.
I'm not sure if it's the Department of Education or what. Like, I don't know. It doesn't say, but it just says the government. So it could be like a national, not a state education state. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Or like,
state,
or
yeah.
national,
And then
or federal.
Federal.
Yeah,
I think
We
there
don't
would be
know.
both.
but I would think that federal would probably be like giving money to the schools. I don't know. It could be state. I have no idea. Yeah, and so private schools charge fees on top of that. Now, how much do you think a year the most expensive Australian private school charges per student?
So Australian, not Brisbane.
Yes.
$42,000 per year.
46,344.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Don't forget that 44.
Oh, sorry. Wasn't too far off.
You're not
Yeah.
too far off. Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
That is hectic.
Yeah.
Per year.
Yeah.
Per kid. If you have 3 kids.
You'll get a discount.
Oh, right. Well,
you get a sibling discount.
I
the more
would
you
hope
put
so.
in.
What an
Totally.
extra, even if you're paying $30K a year,
I know. It's ridiculous.
$100,000 a year.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Crazy stuff. So the most expensive school in Australia is Geelong Grammar.
Geelong or Geelong? Fuck, I love it when she does this because normally it's me.
I should have gone to private school. Maybe then I'd know how to say Geelong. What's it spelled with a G? Geelong. Geelong Grammar?
I don't know. I'm just assuming it's Geelong.
I think it is. Is it Geelong?
I don't know. I'm
Now I
just
can't. I
assuming.
don't know how to say it anymore. Do you know what I'm saying?
Where is it?
Geelong. I don't fucking know.
Send your kids to co-ed
No.
state school. Look what they'll turn out like.
I know, right after last week's episode of our stupid questions, here we are like yelling at private schools, but really.
Okay.
In Sydney,
Yes.
the Sydney Church of England Girls Grammar School is charging $44,000 to cover tuition and technology levy or whatever. Anyway.
That's-
So it ended up
yeah.
being $45,000 because they also have a technology levy
Okay.
of $820 a year.
God.
Anyway, it's
Okay.
very expensive. Okay, but then this is the thing. Academic performance depends more on your postcode than your school. So this is what they're saying.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yes.
And that makes actually totally sense,
100%.
right? So essentially what they're saying is there was a study in 2022, so it's
Ooh.
relatively recent. Basically looked at whether there was a performance gap between public and private school students in standardized literacy and numeracy. And they found the results demonstrate that private schools are not associated with systematically higher average student achievement in primary or secondary school, nor with the steeper trajectories of reading and I forget.
I'm so bored.
They're basically saying
Thank you.
that it doesn't matter whether you go to private or public.
Totally.
The results are basically going to be the same.
Your brain is your brain, whether your brain is at Geelong or at frickin' Cooperoo State High School.
Totally. So it really depends on like what they're saying. Like the reason they're saying that private schools might perform better, I'm paraphrasing. So like work with me here
Brace
because I
yourself.
went to a state school and I didn't really care for that either. Like what they're saying is essentially like because like Cameron, he went to a private boys' school. He's done really well in life. He wants that for his son. So then he sends Bane to a private school. But Bane is also really smart because he comes from Cameron.
Yeah.
Not so much you.
No, it's definitely not. 100%.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like really it's
Yeah.
actually just like
Yeah.
if you're smart, your offspring will be smart. So you will perform better
Yeah.
at school, whether you go to private or public.
Yeah.
Same
And
shit.
if you aren't smart, quote unquote smart, because what's fucking smart? If
You
you're
can still be podcasters. It's fine.
No, but like there's called tutoring. So
Totally.
if your child isn't excelling because they're just not one of those people, like I was a C student, I'm quite happy about that. I don't care. If your child's struggling, will you give them
Yep.
a tutor, whether they're at a private school or a co-ed state school?
Same
You're
thing.
still going to help your kid out. It was funny, just quickly before we take a break, Cameron also said, speaking of him going to his stupid all boys school, he's like, when we were trying to decide for Bane, because here you have to decide if you have a boy, and now it's only just come in for girls too, but if you have a boy, they start their high school in grade 5.
Yes.
So you have to apply when they're
Oh,
in
God, yeah.
grade, you have to decide when they're in grade 3. And then you find out when they're in grade 4, which school they're going to. So it's all very, very early on in their schooling.
So wait, if you miss that boat with grade 5,
Yeah.
you can't just join in a grade 7?
Oh, good luck getting a spot.
Right.
I know a parent just now that she chose not to send her boy in grade 5. There are options to send them in grade 7,
Yeah.
but he did not get in because there's no spot.
Oh shit.
So you run
okay.
the risk of
Right.
not getting a spot. So you can try.
That's a lot of pressure for you parents who want to get your kids into private school. Like
It was
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
so stressful, which we'll talk about in a second, but I just want to finish before the break. So Cameron was saying that, oh no, like, because he went to the boys' school, whatever. And he brings up this, and other people have too, talk about all the networking that they'll have.
I was just
after
going to read that.
school.
Look. Well, also it says some parents believe private schools give their kids a chance to make the right connections that will help them later in life.
Bullshit. I find that bullshit. And I said this to Cameron time and time again when he kept bringing it up. If you are so many thoughts about this. This is actually what gets me annoyed by it. First of all, make friends outside of just your high school crew.
Yes.
Right? You're going to be coming through sports and whatnot, you're going to make other friends outside of school.
Yes.
Network with them. Number 2, if you're just relying on other people to get you a job because of who you know, well, that's stupid. You're setting yourself up to possibly fail.
Totally.
Plus, like for us, Bain has so many different groups of friends already from his primary school days, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He should just maintain those friendships. So lots of his friends have already gone off because they're in grade 5 to different schools. His really good friends that he had, well, he still has sleepovers with them. He still hangs out with them.
Yep.
If he maintains those friendships, whether they go to private school or a co-ed school, he can still fucking network and maintain the friendships with those people.
And we're talking about children here as well. Like,
they're talking about for when they're done high school.
I know, but then doesn't that also create these like boys clubs and girls clubs of these people who are like, because we went, I don't know, it's weird.
No, but what they're saying, Cameron's saying, like, when you're done, so say they go to fucking churchy here, and then when they graduate, they have this network of all these super highly intelligent people that are going to go on to these super high important jobs. So when your child is like, ooh, what do I want to do? Or maybe I want a job here. Ooh, I can ring up Bobby. That's
what I'm saying. I don't agree with that.
No, neither
Fuck
do
ringing
I.
Bobby. Like, you make your own way. Like, be smart.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I get it.
You can network other ways.
Totally.
Like, you don't need to send your kid to a same-sex school, private school, just.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Should we take it to a break
I
so you
think
can yell at me more? Okay, great.
No, it seems like I'm saying all of your facts that are out of my head.
One bottle, one person, 1 year. Lindalyn, tell us about our sponsor, Little Ripples.
Billy, I love Little Ripples. They're not just an ordinary wine. They're extraordinary.
They sure are extraordinary because their goal is to provide 5 million people with clean drinking water within 10 years.
Their main goal, Bill, is to facilitate the construction or repair of a water well, and they help maintain it for over 10 years.
And they do this mainly in regions like India and Africa.
I love companies like this. They're making wine to water.
So go try it.
The other thing, can I just touch on to finish that thought about like the networking? Why can't you network with girls as well if you're a boy?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Like, isn't that more beneficial? Anyways, bloody hell. I have a list of my...
Lindsay has a pet
thoughts.
peeve list.
Well, yes, I do.
I'm settled in. Let's do it.
Okay, wow. This whole... Okay, bear with me, okay? This whole toxic masculinity stuff, right?
Yes.
Now, I know there's no like research or facts or whatever, but I can't help but wonder like this whole, and I target same-sex boys schools over the girls. I don't know why, but like,
well, because girls don't go out and like rampage and.
Well, no, but they're bitchy too. Like they catfight.
Oh, they would be
like
horrible.
We're not innocent.
No.
But there's just a lot more issues in society with males than there are with females, right? So I see these videos from these private boys' schools of them doing like these chants that they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the mom of the son that goes to the school, she's like, oh, it's so cool. Like, oh, it gives me shivers down my spine type thing. And when I watched it, this was a couple years ago when we were still trying to decide what to do with Bain. I was like, this is chilling to me. I know that sounds extreme, but it's like, it was this weird confidence that they were having that was like, they're better than everyone. And that, I can't describe it. She's looking at me like, I'm not.
I'm more looking at you like, I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Yeah. Like it was like it put them above everyone else. And like, it was this weird chant and they're all in this circle and they're doing this chant. And I'm like, there's something weird about this. And is it setting up their minds to be like, I'm a fucking man, I'm better than everyone, like thing? I know that is not coming out very...
No, it's coming out like No, I understand what you mean. As in, is it setting them up to have this mentality of like... Because I think when you don't have access to girls and how... Like, you can't learn about them.
It's on my list.
So like, when you don't understand how to... talk to them, how to communicate, how to be respectful, all that sort of stuff. Like you're surrounded by boys for like how many years is high school? From grade 5 to 12, so 7 years. that's all you see. How are you supposed to then know what happens out in society and what
Yeah.
happens out in the clubs and what happens out in parks when
It's
you
not
like
the
how are
real
you supposed
world.
to chanting and showing your muscles and being animalistic towards a woman is not a good way to meet in a park, you know what I'm saying? So
Well, and like they weren't doing anything towards a woman in this chant and stuff. But
but then they don't know how to behave, I think.
It
You
was
know what I mean?
more like the way it would wire their brain about their confidence and their statue and
Yeah.
like whatever. Because like here, you know, I've got a lot of mums that their sons go to all boys
Yeah.
schools, and it's kind of, I don't know if any of my friends really compete with me about it, but it is almost this little thing like, oh, well, our boys go here. And it's like, I don't want my boy to go there.
Yeah.
I just think the way society is, men have themselves on this weird pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this culture of an all boys school kind of lifts them up to this weird pedestal.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for my boys. And I just think it's not necessary these days.
Yeah.
You can still learn to be a man, because this is another thing that parents will say, oh, they get to learn to be a man. Again, I'm talking about the old boys schools, because whatever. Can you not teach your son to be a man? Do you need a school system to teach your son to be a man?
Preach.
Literally, like
I'm asking myself the same thing these days with all these kids that are doing all these crazy things. It's like, are we not able to teach our children how to be men, how to be women, like how to behave?
Yeah.
But men primarily, because obviously of what's happening.
Exactly. I don't understand it. That just, when people talk about that, I'm like,
Don't know about that.
don't know. If you didn't clue in, like, we're sending our kids to co-ed state schools.
But can I just say on that?
You can.
I wondered often whether I'm just like being a petty jealous bitch over like private schools because I don't have the money to send my kids. Like, I'm not going to spend $30,000 per $50,000 a year to send my kids to school. That's outrageous to me. That's such a waste of fucking money to me.
You can find much cheaper ones.
But if I also was mega rich, which we will be next year because this is going to take off and we're going to explode. Like if I had the money, whether I would consider it for the fact that like these schools have better facilities, obviously there's more money in them, there's more programs and stuff like that. Like would I, you know, like if I had the money, would I do it rather than just being like, I don't have the money, so fuck that. I'm not going to send my kids to private school. But I don't think I would still.
Oh, I know for a fact I wouldn't.
I would a private co-ed school. Private
Totally.
co-ed, I would do that.
Yeah.
But I do have a big problem with the whole same-sex thing.
I would only do a private co-ed if the state co-ed was shit around me.
True.
We went through the process of going to a private boys' school because we were still very much
I remember,
like, do we, don't we?
Yeah.
I was all for don't, but Cameron was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure. We went through the interview process. He got in and we were like, no, thank you.
I love it because I forget things so quickly. Anytime she gives me information, it's like brand new information. So I'm like, oh my God, he got in. Let's just
He did. And we
said no.
And we said no. Yeah. So for us, it was never a factor of money.
Yeah.
We said from the get-go, we're not going to let the money situation dictate what our decision is.
I would.
But for some families, it has to be.
Oh, I was going to say I don't have a choice. It's like,
It has to be.
Yeah.
But you can find state or private schools that are not 30,000, that are only
But I'm just not interested.
11,
Yeah.
12,
Yeah. And I don't think I like you said before, can you imagine, like, okay, boys being surrounded by boys is one thing. Girls being surrounded by girls, and that is it? Good Lord. I have 2 daughters. There's only 2 of them. Sometimes a cousin comes in the mix, and that is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just all of them just being girls? And they all get their period.
Yeah.
It's all messed up. Oh my God, there'd be blood on the walls, literally and metaphorically. My God. So, no thanks. I need them to know how to like approach boys and be really awkward around them.
Yeah, but this is
100%.
the thing. This is the other big thing. It's not the real world. This is what I kept saying to everyone. They're like, oh, you're not going to send your boys to private schools or all boys schools. It's not the real world.
No.
Kids need to learn how to behave and act and react to the opposite sex, because
Yes, 100%.
it was a long time ago, but I remember my hormones when you're around a boy. Like, could you imagine if you, like, either you would be a dirty slut hoe bag, or you'd be a virgin till you're 43 because you're terrified of them. Like,
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
you need to learn. But I am going to play devil's advocate, whatever. I'm going to be on the other side just for a split second.
Go on, Lenny.
Because some people have said for girls, because guys are such dicks nowadays, which I'm sorry, but you guys are, that when they go to a co-ed school, whether it's private or public, doesn't matter. Girls have a hard time concentrating because the boys are Googling at them. You know, because guys are such dicks and they're like, writing the list that we were just talking about, rating the girls, and like guys are undressing the girls and looking at their boobs and whatever.
Yep.
So like, that's a valid point. But that's real life as well.
It's a valid point, but then go into the clubs and what happens there? It's the same thing. This is what I mean.
Your workplace and it happens
don't
there.
Go out and release these women into the world not being prepared about how they behave. You know what I mean? That's an even bigger shock to their system, I think, not understanding that.
Yeah.
So like as much as like I think this is definitely the time to be teaching men how to behave better. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on in the world these days, but I think that thing that's happened in the co-ed school just recently. Did you read about that list?
Yeah.
But did you read what they named, what the categories are? One of the categories was unrapeable.
Yeah. It is shocking.
I'm shocked in the sense that like this is grade 11 boys. We are teaching these kids. This is now our generation. Like this is now people that are our age. So what the fuck's happened to us that we don't know how to teach our boys better?
I know.
Like what?
It's ridiculous. But this is what I'm saying too. Like you can't just let a school, you can't chuck $45,000 at a school and be like, all right, wipe my hands of my kids. He's your product.
Totally.
Take responsibility. It all comes down to the home. It all comes down to the parents. I don't care what people say. You cannot expect, not saying that everybody that sends their kids to private school thinks that, but a lot of people do. You cannot expect a school system or a school to raise and shape your child. You just can't.
100,000%. And I mean, we're not at that, our kids aren't at an age where we are, but they're at this age where we're shaping them now. Like they still have to grow up with a certain sense of respect, you know what I mean? So they don't do stupid shit like that. Of course, boys were doing the same sort of stuff when we were kids, but not to this level of like language. Like unrapeable to me is like next level.
Well, I don't know if you saw in the news about the Broncos fan. Do you know about this one?
I heard something briefly.
Yeah, so she's walking just recently here. She was walking home from a Broncos game.
And she was filming herself and the guys were yelling at her or something.
Yeah,
like that, right?
She was on the phone and these 3 guys in a car were driving by her and they start yelling out, you know, stupid guy things. And the one guy yelled out, I hope you're walking home or else I'm going to rape you. Why? What is...
Speechless.
And again, that's not linked to schooling. We're kind of going off.
We have gone off. Yeah. But I'm kind of glad you did say something about like it is a parenting responsibility. Like if it's not us, then who? Like who are we expecting? And like whether it's private, whether it's public. Yeah. Same shit. Raise your kids right. Totally. Go on. Go back to your list. Sorry.
No, that's it. Yeah. That's my list.
Yeah.
And I know it's very one-sided because I'm quite passionate about the way I think about the whole system. And I found, just to end my personal journey about it, I found it very stressful as somebody who did not come from this schooling system and didn't know anything about it until I had kids over here. Very stressful. And like, I don't know if Bailey probably doesn't remember because she doesn't remember things. For about 2 years, I felt sick to my stomach. I'm like, where do I send Bane?
Oh, I remember that. I remember you guys discussing that Yeah,
it was so stressful. And when we finally made a decision, I'm like, thank fuck that is over, because...
And that you guys made the right decision for you.
Well, I mean, until the right decision for us, I mean, hopefully Bane, Aiden, Van thrive where we send them. But I mean, if they don't, that's our responsibility as parents too, to help them thrive, right?
Totally.
Anyways.
I feel a bit better after having actually done this very limited research I did for this episode. Only because...
Swallow the wine, Lindsay.
Well, it made me think like what I was saying before. Like if I had all the money in the world, whether I would send them to private or not. And like that maybe I'm just being petty because I don't have the money to send them to private. So I'm like, well, fuck you, private. But actually, I sort of do stand behind my always thoughts about like wanting to send them to a public co-ed school. I would like it to be like a fancy public co-ed school. But like I'll take whatever I can get, if you know what I mean. Because I don't have any family in public schools. I don't have any histories in public schools. I don't fucking like public schools. No, private.
I'm like, what?
Private. I don't have any family in private schools. I have no connections to them. So it's not like I'm just going to out of the blue, like spring my kids into these.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I did that all wrong. And I was passionate in all the wrong places. Anyway, and now she's snorting. You know what I'm trying to say.
That literally came out of nowhere. I'm kind of embarrassed. Can we hit the button?
Be embarrassed. You should be embarraed. Anyway, it's your decision and just make a good one, you know.
And raise your kids right, for God's sakes. Can you hit the button? I'm just saying.
Thank you for joining us for this latest episode of Wine Chats podcast with Bildo and Linda. You can find us on our socials on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And you can listen to us on any favorite podcasting app or watch on YouTube.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, review, comment, send us some love. We absolutely love it.
Chat soon. Come on, Lenny. Chat soon.
Chat soon.
Chat soon.
We're not putting this in.
Come on.
Okay, we'll add in chat soon at the end.
Yeah.
Both of us?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Chat soon.